Hey YouTube, it's Old Man Waters here with Old Man Waters Gaming. Gonna give y'all a deck profile on the deck that I took to the North American World Championship Qualifier, NATS, for 2025. I took Dragon Ruler Tenpai, and I was very pleased with the results that I had with it. Me and a couple other guys that are in a group with me decided to play Dragon Ruler Tenpai, and me and Dre Guy teamed up together, and we ran through the competition pretty well. Of course, we didn't win it or anything like it, but we did put on a good show for everybody in our group and for all of our teams and everything. And Dre Guy, shout out to him for giving me like a lot of the deck choices and like some of the side deck techs that I used up there. All of them, everything performed very well, and a lot of the card choices that we decided upon was very good. And I ended up having a 6-3 record at the end of Nats. My round one was White Forest with with main deck Lancia, and I do not understand why that deck was main deck and Lancia, but for the love of God, but like it definitely gave me the swiftness. Paired it with Droll both games. Droll plus Lancia both games kind of ended my run on the first round, and then like my second round was Orcust Horus, and I had never seen the horse cards ever played in Orcust, and that was a 1-2 for me. And then my round three was Malice, which of course was a 2-1, and then rounds 4 through 7 were all Mitsu Rizel, and they were all either 2-0 wins or 2-1 wins. And my eighth round was actually a mirror match between me and another buddy of mine, Alex. Shout outs to Alex. Also had a wonderful game against him. We went into game 3, and my tech choices ended up showing that that they worked, and I ended up getting the 2-1 on him. And then my last round was going to be against Vanquish Soul, and this was the round that needed to be either a draw or a win for me. And I ended up losing to Vanquish Soul because I hadn't had much time to practice against that deck, and not many people in my testing group were on that deck. And so like I just misfortune bestowed upon me. If it had been Mitsu Rizel or Malice, I probably would have done really well against that deck, because like really and honestly, this deck just hands Mitsu Rizel his booty. And but anyways, I'm gonna give y'all the deck profile here in a second. A few more shout outs to Dre Guy, Alex, the rest of the Dragon Ruler community. Met up with Anthony up there, wonderful, super cool guy to meet up with and talk to. Oxford Gamers Den for sponsoring us at the event, for giving us team jerseys, sleeves, and apparel and stuff like that we needed for the event. Very thankful. So shout out to Tom for that. And shout out also to all my other teammates, Bubbles, Jordan, Aaron, which, has a YouTube channel, Unaverage Gaming. He does a lot of our local events and recording them. Super proud of him, how far he's come. He's, him and Aaron and Bubbles have all become like some of my greatest testing partners that I have. And, just shout out to all of the Gamers Den crew and everything else. Super proud of how they done, especially TG. TG done really well going into the last 2 rounds of Nats. And, he just couldn't get the day 2 just like me, but, hey, you know what? We all gave it our shot. We all tried our best, and, we all had a blast, basically. So anyways, it's Dragon Ruler Tenpai, 41 card count. I based it on going first, as most decks do, and I think Dre Guy said his build was based on a going second build, so we kind of had a little bit of variations of everything there with us. So but anyways, let's get into it. 2 Blaster, 2 Titles, 2 Tempest, and 2 Redox. Basically, they're Dragon Rulers. Whenever they're banished, you search your dragon that has the matching attribute, or you can banish the attributes, matching attributes, or dragons engraved to special summon from hand or from grave. They are a hard once per turn effect. And then I played 1 of each of the babies, Burner, Stream, Drafts, and Reactin. I was before this, about 2 or 3 weeks before Nats, I was on 2 of each, trying out some tech, trying out some ideas that Dre guy had thrown at me, and they were working for a little bit. But I started noticing some inconsistencies in the deck, and I was just like, I cannot be having this one going up against the best in the United States. So I decided to cut these down to 1 each, and it worked out relatively well for me. And whenever I changed them back from 2 to 1, I started noticing that the deck was a lot more consistent and, had many different lines to perform. The new Dragon Ruler, the new Baby Ruler flickers, this card is absolutely bonkers. If this card resolves, more than likely you're in a winning position. You have got a leg up on everybody, basically. Now for the splash engine that I put into the deck, it was Tenpai. 3 Pydra. I opted out of playing Dora Dora because of Dora Dora just plays into Droll a little bit harder than what Pydra does. And, Dora Dora does serve a purpose for a 1-card combo. But, I felt more comfortable playing Pydra than I did Dora Dora. But, so it worked out pretty well for me. 1 Pydra. This card used to be a brick forest in pure Tenpai. But in this build, it's not necessarily a brick anymore, because you can just pitch with the Baby Rulers one of your Tenpai monsters, Tenpai dragons, and just normal summon the Pydra and bring back any of the Tenpai cards that you sent to grave, and basically keep extending. Overlook the noise. My guy's outside mowing my yard. 1 Chandra. This card is absolutely insane. It's cracked. There's a reason why this card's at 1. Everybody hates it, but me personally, I like it. 2 Jinrokus. This card is absolutely a necessity for the combo lines that this deck makes. So I'll make a separate video for the combo lines in this whenever I get time. But yeah, this card is absolutely bonkers. And for the only 2 spells I play in this deck would be 1 Summoning and 1 Kaiman. Those are the only spells / traps that I run in this deck. Now for the non-engine, 1 Magma Hut, 1 Druis. These 2 are absolutely wonderful for me. They banished the Mirakumos, use Malice names, and put up bodies or to sync off or link off into. And Druis Worm interacting with Detonator is actually kind of cool. The 1 Floodgate, the Drago. Drago says, hi guys, it's not a dragon deck unless I don't play Drago in the deck. Shut off all your opponent's light and dark plays, and basically all of your attributes that we play are mostly not light and dark, so we normally do not care about the Floodgate of this card. It won multiple games. 3 Fuas, 3 Perulia. Those 6 cards I believe are a necessity for this build, because you want to play into your opponent. You want your opponent to play into your hand traps, so that way you can gain more card advantage against them, and then just take all engine and then just break the board. The next card's 3 Ash. Card's insane. 2 Bale. This card was absolutely MVP for Nats for me. I was on the fence before Nats about cutting this card, and relatively it worked a lot better than what I thought it would, because they would go Mitsu Raizel would try to bring back a Mirakumo or something like that and get bailed, or I would make them play awkward into going into Eclipse Twins and then summoning Node and sending the Eclipse Twins target sword to bring back, and that the bell right there is just chef's kiss. It's just perfect. And you would make them end on a really strange board, and then you just OTK them. And then for the last 3 Drone Lockbird, this card is honestly quite annoying, but it's really good. So it's a 41 card count deck. If there's there's no changes to the deck in the current format that I would make to this to adjust my play style or anything like that. I think everything is where it should be for the current format that we have. But now going into the next format with K9, Yummy, and Draco Tail coming out, I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of different changes. But, we'll get into that, whenever the Justice Hunters comes out and everything else. Let's go into the extra deck now. 2 Chasma. This card ever hits the board, you might as well hang it up. Game's coming to an end. 1 Catastrophes. I made this a lot going second, playing into boards, and shuffling back the Flickers and bringing back the Chasma to make Apocalypse, which was absolutely absurd. Like all the people were freaking out whenever, Apocalypse would hit the field, because like most of the time if Apocalypse ever hits the field and resolves, you're about 98.8% sure you're going to win. 1 Flare Metal. Made this once against the Malice player in round 3 and going into time, and I went first and made Seals plus Chasma plus Flare Metal, and I didn't even bother to even try to do the Drago play because he was burning himself to death, and like trying to out this while going into time is kind of like beating your head against a wall. So that's it for the XYZs. Let's go into our links now. 2 Seals. A lot of the builds I see are playing only 1. I have to disagree with that sort of, because like Nib during Nats was seeing a little bit of popularity. So like if they nib like the Seals plus Chasma line, you basically get to rebuild the board for free. Seals brings back another ruler, and then like you have another ruler engrave, and then you still have your Tenpai normal summon, and then you just basically remake the line again, and they wasted a hand trap for nothing. I did opt in to play the Hida line and the Fire Princess line with the Zelantis line. This came up about 5 times, and every time I seen this line hit the board, I always won. So it was very under the radar pick for me for a lot of the opponents, because they just didn't ever see it coming. And then 2 Bidents, 1 Transcendent, and 1 Trident Dragon. Shout out to Jordan for loaning this to me, and got plenty of compliments over the weekend on the card of how beautiful it was and how beautiful the extra deck looked. Lots of compliments on that. Let's go into my side deck now. This is where me and Dre Guy kind of worked together a good bit on this, and again, shout out to Dre Guy for this. Wonderful player, a superb player in his own right, and I look forward to doing more work with him in the upcoming format versus K9, Draco Tail, and Yummy, and seeing what we can make this deck actually do. 3 Lancia, Malice Hate, of course. 3 Meows for Malice and Fiendsmith, and pure Mitsurugi Hate. So self-explanatory. All of the cards that I used that are in my side deck, I used everything. There was nothing in my side deck that was left untouched. There was nothing in the extra deck that was left untouched. 1 Christia for going first. Hang on a second, I'll just do it like this then. I'll just do my little going first package here. It was 1 Christia, 3 Gordian Slicers. No, that is not the going first package, sorry. 3 Heat Waves, 1 Talents, and 1 Call By. That was the going first package. And like that, they worked phenomenal. Heat Wave was absolutely chef's kiss to me. If I saw Call by the Grave, I won. If I saw Talents, I won. Christia ever hit the board, it won. I think I summoned Christia 1 time, and that was against the Vanquish Soul player, and that was the game I actually, in game 2, that was the one that I actually won against him. And now, like, my going second card, Board Breaker, was like Gordian Slicer. Going into like Malice boards, and like Mitsu Rizel, it does what it's supposed to do. And like it forces out prayers, it forces out Detonator to, pop itself and get the Eclipse Twins to bring it back, and if they don't have the Eclipse Twins, they're just losing a free Detonator. So I mean, like, the card's kind of OP, and I'm looking forward to using this card in the next format because I honestly think this card plus Super Poly and Forbidden Droplet is going to be really strong. Well, guys, that's the deck profile. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And leave your likes, leave your comments, leave your posts, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.